Hi, everybody. I'm Bryan Mudd, a fan of South Plains politics. Here's your talking points for this week. Would you feel comfortable sitting next to the person you sat next to in church today knowing they were carrying a gun? Some would, but what would your pastor say? And I hate it, you hate it, we all still have to pay our taxes. But if you paid a little bit as you go, instead of a big property tax bill once a year, would that be better? A local lawmaker thinks it could be.
From the studios of KMAC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points with Bryan Mudd, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Services.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Also this week, my points. There's not a lot of personal commentary on this show because, frankly, I think there's already way too much of that from people who do what I do. But if you'll indulge me just once, I'd really appreciate it. The issue is the recent revelation from our reporting and others about actions taking place since August in the Lubbock County Medical Examiner's office. I'm not an expert in pathology or forensic science. I don't know what happens everywhere else in the world. But in our big, small part of the world, with our sensibilities, it is not, nor will it ever be okay to unilaterally dismember the bodies of children during autopsy and send those parts to research companies without permission of the child's family. I don't care about the justification or if our laws are vague. Our values are clear. And whoever in leadership positions thought that this would be a great idea for the bottom line of Lubbock County deserves the criticism that may come their way soon. And it's doubtful much of this would have ever come to light without the effort of people who were fired from the ME's office by the operating company, NAAG, and new Chief Examiner Dr. Sam Andrews. You're okay to question the motives of people who've been fired, but documents backing up their claims seem to make clear that heinous policies were put into action. Former employee Sinead Graves has filed a lawsuit about this against NAG, Dr. Andrews, and Dr. Evan Matchis, who Graves says conducted autopsies here without a Texas medical license. Graves reported what she knew to authorities before being fired, prompting the lawsuit. But Graves also understands what this really means to families involved.
I'm sorry. I wish I had more power and more knowledge to have stopped it. I wish I would have thrown my job out the window to help your baby. That's all.
Now, we're told that because of ongoing investigations by Texas Rangers and others, employees of the ME's office and district attorney's office cannot comment on the case. The county and the state attorney general have not allowed us access to the contract between Lubbock County and NAAG because of what they call proprietary information and economic development issues, none of which made one bit of difference to the families of these children, at least some of whom had no idea this had happened. KMAC's Paige Peroso had the sad duty to tell one of them about it.
We did not sign up for this. I knew she had to have an autopsy, but this is like remove her, remove this, She was 10 years old.
Rebecca Villarreal has questions.
Preserve each lung.
It's about what happened to her adopted granddaughter after she died.
I did not prepare.
4 days after Elena Castilla died, this memo was sent to the doctor who would perform her autopsy, giving instructions to harvest Elena's organs.
Who are these monsters? These are monsters. Who are these people? I didn't sign no papers. I didn't sign for them to disassemble.
In the letter signed by Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Sam Andrews, it instructs the doctor to preserve the brain, remove the cervical spine, eyes, and lungs, among other things.
Who is this? Because this is not all of my baby. Because what I'm reading here, this is on my child right here. Remove flesh, hang, preserve the heart. I don't even have her heart.
We tried to see copies of these autopsies from the ME's office, but no one returned our call. Elena suffered most of her life from the effects of shaken baby syndrome. Rebecca adopted Elena when she was just 1 year old.
She was a fighter. She got that from Grandma.
Rebecca said she was told because of the shaken baby syndrome, an autopsy needed to be done, but she never agreed to organs being harvested.
They literally disassembled my child. She wasn't a manufactured home. She wasn't a toy. She wasn't a doll. She was a person.
It's unknown why Dr. Andrews and the pathology labs requested the organs to be taken out. Paige Peroso, KMAC News.
All right, Paige, thank you. Lubbock County's District 2 County Commissioner Jason Corley's been among those trying to get a closer look into how the medical examiner does business here. First, can you give me your reaction to the grandmother of that child finding out what had happened in that autopsy?
My heart goes out to her. I cannot imagine what that woman's experiencing right now, finding out that this is possibly happened to her granddaughter. You know, I mean, I have my own children. I mean, I can't even imagine losing one of them, let alone finding out that this was done to them after they died.
I know you've been looking into this for a while, but since this story's kind of blown up over the last week or so, I'm wondering what's been the reaction of county employees to all of this as we move forward. Are they as appalled as the rest of us are?
That's been the general consensus. I think just shock, you know, finding out that this is going on, you know, right here in our own backyard, you know, in one of our departments, or just, well, that these accusations are being made.
Sure.
This is going on.
And what about from other leadership in the county?
I think they're as stunned and surprised as everyone else is to hear these allegations. So I know, you know, just the commissioners that I've talked with, you know, we're waiting for the Rangers to conclude their study, or excuse me, conclude their investigation. But yeah, that was shock.
Yeah, as we mentioned, we've been continually turned down in our request to get a look at the contract between the county and NAG. I know you have seen this in your duties there. Is there a way out of this for the county, and how might that process work if it were to come to that?
So the contract does have terms that we can end in the contract with NAG Pathology. There is one in there that says within either party can end the contract with 90 days notice. There's that. There's also grounds to just end it outright. You know, if both parties agree to that. So there is a way to end the contract. This is not a done deal. It's not something that we're stuck with.
People are going to want to know: is there a possibility of that happening anytime soon?
Oh, yes.
In your opinion, anyway.
Well, I can't comment on that, but I would imagine that you can expect to see action from the Commissioner's Court. As you've noticed, it's no longer staff of people that are willing to sit back and wait.
Dr. Andrews wrote a memo to the county judge, of course, alleging that you were harassing him and creating a hostile work environment. How would you characterize your interaction with Dr. Andrews and others in the Medical Examiners Board leading up to all of this?
I find it laughable, his accusation that I've somehow harassed him. I've been by his office and spoke to him in person one time. The second time I came by, his staff told me that he was too busy and could not speak with me. I got to him by email 3 times. That is the only correspondence I've had with the man. So his version of harassment and mine are clearly quite different.
Do you have any reasons why you think that he's doing this at this point?
I believe it's a smear campaign against me is what it looks like. You know, he made accusations that I want to see dead children naked in his complaint.
Because you wanted to come and witness an autopsy and see what they're doing.
What I'd requested of him is that I be contacted and be present for any autopsies on minors. I need to be able to assure my voter that this is not happening in Lubbock County, Texas, you know, what these allegations are. And he agreed. He had no problem with that. He had one of his employees, who's now on the news, who was later terminated, Sine Greaves, is... You know, he instructed her to contact me, to call me every time that there was a, you know, an autopsy to be performed on a minor. He had no objection to this, and now he claims that, you know, claims that he is banning me from the facility, and that, yeah, that I'm not, that I have no right to go down there. Well, that's just not the case. I have no desire to watch an autopsy. It's not something you want to see.
Right.
But if that's what it takes to make sure that this is not happening to, you know, our children, I'll make that sacrifice.
He's under investigation by the state board, I believe, for some different case. And you can maybe tell me more on that. And there's been some documented problems with him in courtrooms. Do you know if there was any hesitation in hiring him or NAG for this job in the first place as we got into this process? It's before your time, but
yes.
What do you know about that?
So Dr. Andrews and NAG Pathology were brought in before I got in office, and you know, I did just a Google search of NAG Pathology and Sam Andrews, and I invite anyone else to do this. and I'd found out about a story where it said that he had reversed his testimony in Travis County, and then also his connection to the Boyd case in Albuquerque. I found this on Google, so that was my question. Was like, well, wait a minute, who are we hiring? Is there a problem here? Is there a question that we need to be asking? And is this who we need to hire? And to which I got no response.
So what's next for you, I know, in your pursuits of all this and trying to find out what's going on?
Well, the Texas Rangers have come in, so we need to let them do their jobs. And I've got full faith in the Texas Rangers to be able to do this investigation and do it properly.
Do you anticipate? Do you anticipate we know there's a civil action now, but any possibility of any criminal action coming because of this?
We'll know more once the Rangers, let us know, what their investigation determines. But we'll move forwards from there. I've been told that our DA intends to prosecute if there are, criminal actions taking place. That's what I've been told. So I expect if there is something in fact going on, that it will be taken seriously and it will be handled. And I'm glad we brought in the Texas Rangers. Biggest concern in local government is always, people think, well, is there a conspiracy here? Is there something going on? When you bring in a third-party group to do the investigation or to do an audit or anything like that, it reassures people that there's no cover-up, there's nothing going on here, and your elected officials are doing everything they can to make sure that that your interests are being protected.
All right, Jason Corley, Precinct 2 Commissioner for Lubbock County. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's do this week's poll question. Would you support House Bill 1500, which would prevent a Texas doctor from performing an abortion if a fetal heartbeat is detected? Only exception would be if the mother has a medical emergency. Talk to us on our KMAC News Facebook page and on everythinglubbock.com. Click Talking Points. Give us your opinion. Coming up, City Council changing ahead of the Lubbock Day at the state legislative session. Got to watch for that. And Lubbock's congressman has been home talking to farmers and others about ag issues, immigration policy, and more. Jody Arrington talks to us about those things next on Talking Points.